Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Misha McKittrick. This is a podcast where I believe that as you take time for a mindset check, you have more power than you think you do. And where we also believe that as you seek for light, you allow yourself access to light. Can't wait to dive into this with you today because it's a very important topic, and it doesn't matter if, you have like what you feel like is zero light in your life, like you're hanging on with white knuckle fists, or if you just need a little bit of a recharge. And that's what we're here to jump into, to just be in the space of seeking after light and filling our souls with beauty and goodness. Without further ado, let's jump into the episode. A few years ago, I was driving in the car with one of my boys, and he was looking up one thing after another on my phone, and he was feeling really excited. He wanted to update his room and kind of bring in more of a bachelor feel, like transitioning right from little boy to bachelor. And he wanted it to be, quote, modern. And he started wondering, is there such a thing as like a black LED light? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure there is, but it would actually appear purple. But, I encouraged him to look because I said, you never know what you might find in this world. And he looked, and sure enough, a black LED light is purple. And it started this thought process rolling around in my mind that you can't really have black and light at the same time, right? So remember that if you feel dark, the very best thing that you can do is to turn on the light. And that's any degree of darkness, right? Right? That's what's so fascinating to me, is that there are a lot of people who trudge through this life experiencing loads, pounds and pounds, tons and tons of darkness, right? And I know that, and trust me, I have stood by loved ones that it is so difficult to bring in any amount of light. So it's a very serious topic for me, but also very motivating, because guess what? Gremlins die in the light. Those ugly little creatures from the 80s, right? They live in the closet and they only come out at night. And if you were to imagine sticking your hand, or maybe like an extended claw so it doesn't eat up your arm, right, into the closet, and as you're pulling out the gremlin and it's coming into the light, it's going to be like a fight. It's going to be sometimes a little bit painful or whatever. But once you can just get the gremlin in the light, it begins to deteriorate, right? And so much of what we expose ourselves to is the end result of how we feel. You want to go toe-to-toe, head-to-head on this? I will. Because at the end of the day, there is so much science around simply, like even just heart coherence, around create good feelings, and you create different chemicals in your body. And then guess who becomes in charge of this chemical concoction that's happening inside of you? You do. You become more in control. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He says, when we live in an age of information, ignorance really is a choice. Like, there is so much around you. You pretty much have to crawl under a rock to be ignorant, right? And I bring this up simply because I'm telling you, there is a ton of darkness in this world, but there's also so much access to light. And so really what it kind of comes down to, from my vantage point, is that everything you partake in alters and affects your soul. So it's time to take inventory and to say, wow, in what ways am I participating in things that are keeping me in darkness, in a feeling of darkness, right? And there are plenty of people who have to fight through this more than others. I understand, and I get that. I understand that wrestle with a gremlin is more like a wrestle with a closet full of gremlins instead of one. I get it. I get it. But I've also watched clients go from absolutely suicidal to change their life around because they decided they wanted to be in charge. They wanted to take an inventory and start to let light in. They just wanted to begin to feel different, right? And so it's just letting a little bit, because a little bit of light makes black purple. It changes it. All that it takes to light up a dark room is one tiny ray of light. A single candle flame can be seen by the average human eye up to 1.6 miles away. Blow your mind, right? Light can bring new perspective, warmth, energy, and love. So if every single thing in this world is emitting a vibration, and you can choose to let a little bit of light in, what can you reach for? What can you bring in that changes it, that allows a ray, that allows a flame, one tiny little flame, that allows black to be purple? And if you're on board with the idea that every single thing in this world, be it music, be it movies or TV shows or people or activities or literally just anything that you expose yourself to, right? Like books or and interactions, right? Your own thought processes. If you can get on board that every single one of those things falls on a registry of a vibration emotionally, right? Then let's get on board with exposing ourselves to something that feels higher and higher and higher. And what I want to do right now is just take literally just a couple of minutes, and I want you to take a breath with me. I want you to take a breath with me so that we're in a space where you can say, what do I have access to help me bring in the light? And just to listen, okay? So if you are in a place where you can, sit down, close your eyes, and just start to breathe. That's it. Keep going. Just take the breaths in and out. And as you start to take the breaths in and out, just notice that the air is going in your nose and down the back of your throat, and just allow it to go right into your chest. And this time when you breathe in, I want you to hold your breath at the top. So just take a deep breath and hold it. See if you can feel your heart beating, and hold it and release. Take another breath like that. Take a deep breath. Hold it at the top. Just see if you can feel your heartbeat. And just let it go. One more breath, just like that. Take a deep breath in and hold. Feel that heartbeat. And let the air go, and let your breathing return to just inhaling and exhaling. And right now you're just prepared to hear, just to listen. So just try to be in tune with something that might be there for you. Listen, or you might just feel pulled towards something. Where can you find light? Good. Okay, so just know that you may have received a really great idea. You may be really in tune and on a path towards inviting and letting in the light. And just PS, just so you know, just listening to this episode and just being right here, right now, you're already doing that. But you might have been shown other things that you can do. And if you weren't, just pay attention after this episode and things will come. It will continue to come. You can place consciously light in your life. And anytime you check into light, it dispels the darkness. I love the story of the lotus flower and how it grows from adversity. The lotus flower actually grows in muddy, murky waters, but it rises above the surface to bloom into a beautiful, pristine flower. And it's similar for us. We can be in crazy circumstances, environments. There can be a lot of energy in the place where we live. We can have a lot of struggles and adversities in our life. And we can rise above those things to achieve our full potential. Beauty and strength can emerge from difficult and challenging environments. And I promise you, it only makes your story better. It only makes your story better. Check into good feelings and let those guide your life. I hope that you can see that just by seeking light, you're letting in light. And in that, you have more power than you think you do. If you think this podcast can help someone, then share it with them. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Before we leave, I want to share with you a quote from one of my very favorite poems. And that is, as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And I'm sharing that with you because sometimes when you're looking for light, it is, motivating to find the light because of the other people in our life. So I wanted just to share that with you. And that whole entire poem is so good if you want to go look it up. It's by Marianne Williamson, but she was originally quoting Nelson Mandela. And I'm even referring to it as a poem, but I think it was originally part of Nelson Mandela's liberation speech. Okay, so it's really phenomenal. It starts, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. You could type that into Google and you'll find it. All right, until next time, my friend.